All right, so we got to talk about this. Madison Prep Academy in Baton Rouge has been going crazy. I'm seeing it all over my timeline, so I got to talk about it on Crucial Convo. People are talking about how ratchet and how ghetto it is, and how, this is stereotypical of black schools or black children, whatever the case is. Now, let me get into what I feel about it. I'm going to play the actual whole video because I think clips are going around. And when you play clips, it's easy to dig into stereotypes and stuff like that. Now, here's my thing. Now, when it comes to what the temperature, what's going on today, I think a lot of this is because right now everybody's talking about black fatigue, right? I say all that to say that this is the temperature, what's going on, people are talking about. And I think that they're running to opinions on this graduation and say, yo, this is ratchet, this is bad. I'm gonna play the whole video, at least the whole video from what I see, right? I think that these kids graduated from Madison Prep, and I think they're having fun. Keep in mind, I don't think this is the average graduation for high school. I don't typically see this, but I think that you got to understand that, look, at the end of the day, culturally, black people, have always been a little bit more, if you look at the lineage or anything, the celebratory, if you look at most African cultures, they do dance, and it's just part of what we do. Now, here's the thing. I think people are going a little bit too far. I think that this graduation, these kids were having fun. They actually had like some form of a line dance. This was choreographed, and then they had certain separate dances for students. But let me play the whole video, and then we'll go over it. Pause it here. So you see everything was choreographed kind of up to that point, and then the students threw their caps up in the air, whatever, and just started, kind of like, getting it in. And I really don't have a problem with it. Here's the thing. I think they were having fun. I think people are making too big of a deal of it, and they're reading into a lot of stereotypes. Now, I went and looked at, I've seen comments about, the academic scores and the academics of this school and other schools that are predominantly African American. And look, at the end of the day, there's always a conversation about education, how scores need to be up, how our kids need to rise to even higher levels, and all of that. There's always a conversation for that. But I think trying to put that in the context of this conversation, and that, I've been reading comments people are talking about, I hope they're as passionate about their education. I hope they're passionate about their business skills and going to college and all this stuff. And even people saying you're supposed to be happy when you're supposed to graduate from high school. It's no big deal. They shouldn't be celebrating so hard. And what I would say to people is, look, I have kids. They're not at this age yet, but depending on the school that your kids go to, depending on how much soul and how much, I'll just say soul for the lack of a better word, that your school has, they may do things like this, and I don't see this as a problem. I don't think that this was unruly. I don't think this was ratchet. I think this was just a black graduation, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay for them to have fun. It's okay for them to celebrate. And I don't see anything negative about it. You see the staff, you see the parents, they're all having a good time. These kids all graduated. Even if they're all not straight A students or valedictorians, it's a spectrum of students who did make it to the point where they walked. So this is the part everybody was like, yo, this is ratchet. this whole black fatigue thing. I'm okay with that conversation. We can always have I think there's definitely a place for the conversation of black fatigue and ratchetness and crazy behavior. Lord knows I speak on it a lot on this platform, and I don't think this fits the bill for that. And I think that, again, we got to detangle these conversations, because people want to run straight to making anything that is black to be ratchet. And that's where I have a problem with too, right? So when you're talking about behavior, you're talking about disrespect, being unruly, all the fighting, all the, the craziness, kids cursing people out, cursing adults out. That behavior is crazy, and we see it online, and that's the kind of behavior that may contribute to what people are calling black fatigue. But this is a graduation, and at the end of the day, everybody seems to be in support of it as far as the people who were there, meaning the staff, meaning the parents. If the kids was up there just doing something that the staff wasn't cool with, the teachers and the principals and everyone else, or their parents weren't cool with, then it'd be something that you could say, okay, this was pretty ratchet. They were just wilding out and being unruly at their graduation. But everybody seems to be in support of it and happy that these kids are graduating. I think we should just be happy that these kids are graduating. There's a lot of kids who aren't graduating, a lot of kids who dropped out of school. That's a whole nother conversation. But we have a lot of kids who don't make it this far. So once you graduate high school, these kids are just now starting to, discover what the next point in their life's going to be. And I think that to take these little clips and make them, oh, well, this is what they do, and this is ratchet, and this is the problem in our society. Nah, I'm down for that conversation. Lord knows, you ask anybody, I'm all for those conversations when it comes to the black community, but this ain't one, yo. Look at that. Everybody's cool. Look at that. At the end of the day, you see they had a great time. They sat back down like they like any civilized high school student to an extent of what a high school student is. They did their thing, they sat back down. They're enjoying their graduation. After that, they off to go eat Red Lobster or shrimp or a steakhouse or whatever they're going to do and enjoy with their family. And that's what you do. You enjoy your graduation. So all of y'all trying to make this more than what it is, cut it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Crucial Convo.